Okay. I know. This is the awkward part while I drop the mic through my shirt. This is, yeah. Hi, guys.
We need to round down
We
here.
do.
Everyone else ask what we need in here. That's the next.
You know, I'll go back to Glenda. Okay. So we played our game. We did the stuff. Okay. All right, guys. So today, we're going to talk about all right, yeah, get ready for this. You're going to be sick of it by the end of next year. Our 2020 vision. Get it?
Oh, yeah. I'm stupid.
See, I thought that's where you were going, Katie, but you said 1920 vision, and everybody was thinking 100 years ago. They're all like, what? All right, somebody explain 2020 vision to people who aren't getting what I'm putting down here. Connor, you got it?
Vision of what we're going to do in 2020.
Yes, but why is it punny?
Because it's like 2020. Your eyes are...
The year. That's perfect vision.
Perfect vision. All right, so our 2020 vision for the youth group, who knows? Who's been paying attention? Yeah, what do you think it is? You got it? Are you like 100%? No. Does somebody know? Yeah, what's the vision? What's the goal? Well, yes. It's always going to be to know, grow, show,
I feel
go.
like it was something to do with like discipleship.
I know it, but
It is something to do with discipleship. Okay, so it is for each one of us in this youth group, not just in this room, to what? We have an answer? Disciple one person. And as we talked about over the summer, discipling one person could mean that you're going to take a little baby Christian and help them blossom into a more mature Christian. You're like, well, I'm not qualified to do that. I myself am a baby Christian. Well, there's always somebody who's like a little less mature than you spiritually, okay? Not just physically, okay? How many times did you laugh this morning when Eric kept saying, do your duty?
wow.
Just me? Okay.
I was laughing at Cece.
He kept talking about your Christian duty, and I'm like, yeah, he said it a lot, okay? I almost got a little duty counter. Anyway, I'm off topic. Anyway, the point is, other than laughing at the word duty, okay, there are people spiritually less mature than you. So you can find a Christian in this youth group or a Christian who's moving up into this youth group, right? We have 6th graders joining us in 2 weeks. Brand new 6th graders, okay? And you know more than they know, okay? So you can absolutely disciple a 6th grader, okay? Most of you can. Or maybe it's somebody at your school who is not saved, okay? Somebody that you're going to work on getting to church, or you want to share Christ with, or you just want to try to show that person the love of Christ and begin those gospel conversations with them. Pick one person that you're going to intentionally disciple. Okay, what does the word intentionally mean?
Do it on purpose.
Yeah, do it on purpose, right? So I can accidentally elbow Leah, and I can intentionally elbow Leah. Which one's going to get me in a lot of trouble? Well, maybe both, but the intentional one, right? So a lot of people are like, share the gospel all the time. Use words if necessary. Okay? I was channeling John Christ in that one. All right, but the point is like, you can't be like, oh, my lifestyle shares the gospel for me, so I never have to use words. No, that's unintentional, okay? I'm saying be intentional about who you're going to share the gospel with, who you're going to try to help grow in their faith, right? If I'm unintentionally going to disciple a younger Christian, I'm going to be like, hey, how are you doing today? Do you want to sit next to me in church? And like, that's it. If you're going to be intentional about discipling a younger person in Christ, you're going to talk to them about their quiet time. You're going to help answer questions they might have. And yes, they can also sit next to you in church, but you're going to be very specific about what you do and how you do it with them, okay? So, keep that in the back of your mind. Our goal in doing this, okay, we want to become the friendliest place in High Point so that we can share the gospel with other people. Okay, all of the things that we've done in this room, Oh yeah, never mind. I want to talk about this. This is great. Okay. What is a hurdle? Who can answer that question? What is a hurdle? Yeah, what?
It's a thing you jump over.
A thing you jump over, okay? A thing you maybe, I'm going to correct your definition, are supposed to jump over and keep running, right? Okay?
That poor girl.
Yeah, that hurts. All right, so that, I don't know, man. Okay, well, guys, I found an even better video clip than this, okay?
Yeah, it was probably.
This is the greatest hurdler of all time.
Oh, I bet he goes under.
No, this is, look at this guy.
Where is it? Oh. Are you allowed to do that?
No, absolutely not.
Why did he do that? He's not he just got mad.
My favorite part is he still came in fourth. Like, he didn't jump a single hurdle. Oh, no. I messed it. All right.
He just said he finished fourth.
Yeah, he absolutely, didn't hit a single hurdle and still didn't come in first place, right? I think you get penalized for every one you miss. So, that is how you don't run hurdles, okay? So, what if I'm saying, oh, Leah and I are having twins, but we have a lot of hurdles in front of us, what does that mean?
Like obstacles. And you're,
Obstacles that you have to jump over.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So now put your thinking cap on, okay? This is where we go from abstract to application. What are hurdles that are in place in our youth group that keep people from coming to know Christ? Yeah. Parents, yeah. Unfriendliness. Yes.
We're caught up in our own groups that we don't go out and talk to even other people that are in our youth group. Because we're well, not really right now, but usually we're boys and girls.
Oh, yeah. Sunday morning, it's a sharp
And we're
line.
scared to sit over there, I think. Or if it's scared, just maybe we don't feel comfortable in our own youth group because we only know, good. We only have a good relationship with a few people, but that's not really going to help our youth.
Yeah. Let's do an exercise. So pretend like you're walking into this room for the first time. You know none of these insane people, okay? What do you experience?
You're like,
anxiety.
Yeah, you're scared. Yeah, where do you sit? Who do you talk to? Where do you pee? Okay? These are legit questions, okay? So, when the adults started talking about this, last May, one of the conversations we had this was back when the wall was up. We had sofas, okay? A new person comes into the youth room and guess what? It was stinky. It was dirty. We had ants all over the floor, okay? Mostly because we all went to Starbucks and left the cups there. And we left our, breakfast crumbs on the floor, okay? So it was dirty and stinky and the sofas were sticky and you weren't really sure why. There were some days where we came in, we threw these sofas away a long time ago, but you'd come in and they'd be wet when you sat on them. But why? Why is it damp? Okay. And so here's a little known fact probably to you guys, but they say churches will grow to 80% of their seating capacity and stop because it's uncomfortable, right? Once you start getting more than 80% full, y'all feel cramped, right? Don't you? Doesn't this feel a lot nicer? It's more open. Some of you are I didn't even notice. Okay, Katie and Darren right now are sitting in where the wall used to be. Mike is in the bathroom, okay? We definitely have more room this way, and we can do more games, and we're more free because we're looking at it as a leadership. We're what are the hurdles that we can remove from the race to keep people from coming to youth group? And if the room smells nice and the carpet isn't terribly stained, and there's a place for them to sit, and we have room for everybody, right? We don't have like Carrie and Kelsey sitting in the corner on the floor, and Cecily's also in the floor, but for a different reason. And like if we have room for people to sit, that's a hurdle that's gone. Because it's easy for somebody to come in and be like, they didn't even have a place for me to sit. I'm not going back. So let's remove that hurdle. What other hurdles can we remove from our youth group? All the ones we just said, right? We tried to get rid of all of the physical hurdles, but there are still a bunch of like emotional and spiritual and just friendly hurdles that we can remove, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. Oh man. All right, so let me start with me. I didn't put this verse on here, but it's Proverbs 26:18-19. Okay, when we were having these discussions last year over the course of the year, this verse came up. I don't remember where. I think it was in a quiet time or something. It was in a book I read. It says, like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I am only joking. What does that mean? It means when you're teasing your friends and you're like, haha, Jordy, you're so dumb. You can't even, I don't know, do something. You know, when you're making fun of your friends and you're mean about it, but at the end you just go, I'm only kidding. You know I'm kidding, right? The Bible says that's like a man who throws firebrands, arrows, and death. But guess what? I do that all the time. And I've tried to be better about it because of this verse, because it hit me square in the face that somebody who walks into our youth group and sees us joking around, even if we're like, oh, I'm just kidding, yeah, we're friends. But if we're mean to each other's face, and we call it a joke, they're going to be like, yeah, I definitely don't want to be their friend. Like, yeah, they're calling Jordy stupid, and they're saying, you know, Adam smells like feet, and, you know. They're like, oh, just kidding, right? And then Adam goes home and cries because he smells like feet, and, like, it's bad, okay? Like, it started with me, and I'm like, I need to be more friendly. And then I get competitive, guys, and I want to win, but we have to realize, like, wanting to win a youth group game on Sunday nights isn't worth throwing out all of the visitors that are here watching how we interact with each other. You know? When we're just like tossing around a ball having fun and we decide, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I took this ball and threw it in Jake's face when he's 5 inches from me? Like, first of all, yes, that's funny, but it's not very nice. And a visitor is going to see that and they're going to be like, I don't want to be a part of this group. That sounds, I can only imagine. So it's not worth, like, if I'm talking about hurdles that keep people from going to heaven forever, I don't want to get to heaven one day and have somebody, like, this is not how it works at all, but, you know, they're trying to check in at heaven's gate, and God's like, why should I let you into heaven? God's like, well, you know, I went to church this one time, but they were so mean. Or like, but Josh made fun of me, or there wasn't a place for me to sit. Or something that I can control. I don't want that to be the reason that somebody doesn't come back to church. So somebody gives up on church forever because of something that we can do. We don't want to be a hurdle for somebody, okay? So, we're going to go from there to the types of people I think that we have, or where we're all at as a youth group now, okay? I think there are people in our youth group who have gotten to the point where, like, they're mentally checked out, okay? Maybe it's because they think what we're doing is childish and they're above it, or they think that they know everything there is to know and there's nothing left to learn. That's possible. You can say, that's me, I'm there. You don't have to raise your hand, but be honest with yourself. But the thing is, like, I'm going to challenge you that if you're feeling that way, you're feeling that way because you're not investing the time and the effort to get anything out of it. If you're feeling like it's childish or you're checked out or you're not being challenged, follow that up with, are you doing your Romans reading? Because that's like the deepest book that's ever been written. And if you are doing your Romans reading, are you like skimming through it? If you want to go deeper, get a study Bible and do your Romans reading with a study Bible. If it's still too childish, then listen to John Piper's sermons while you do the Romans reading, because he preached on that book for 8 years. Like, solid. Imagine if Eric did that. Okay, he preached, Eric's like, we're going to start a sermon series on Romans, and it would end in 2028. Okay, people would riot. Okay, like, he had a good pace at first, and then like around verse 17, he spent a whole sermon on one word. Okay, it was like a 45-minute sermon on a word. So I'm saying if you're feeling checked out or if it's childish, find somebody to mentor or actually apply yourself, because maybe the problem is you're using that as an excuse to not be involved. Okay? Maybe you're somebody who is like an underclassman and you're taking things very seriously and you're frustrated because other people aren't. Okay? I get that. But you also have to realize, like, not everybody is going to take it seriously. But you can disciple somebody else. You can control that situation. But ultimately, the only person that you can take ownership of is yourself. We also have people who are coming to this youth group who are spiritually curious. They have questions that they want answers, but they don't feel comfortable asking them because they don't want to be judged. Or they don't feel comfortable talking about the questions that they have, and they don't feel comfortable answering questions because they think other people know more than them. But it's like, I want y'all to understand, when we ask Sunday school questions, we're asking, what do you think? Okay, great example. Adam this morning was like, well, this is what I got out of the passage. Okay? I thought it was great because we're learning from Adam, but if he's afraid to talk, then nobody else learns. Y'all got to realize, like, Bible study is very subjective. Like, yes, there's truth, but also, like Katie said, when we talk about what the passage spoke to us, it's personal, but also y'all can learn from it too, right? Ainsley might read something in a passage and be like, this stood out to me because of blah. And like legit, Eric could be like, well, I've never thought of it that way. Just don't be afraid to speak what you guys are getting out of the Bible, because the Holy Spirit talks to all of us, okay? There are other people, this is uncomfortable, but there are people that feel left out, okay? There are people that don't sit on the youth row on Sunday morning, not because they'd rather sit with their family, but because there's no room or nobody asked them, and they feel like nobody cares. And what's even worse is some of us don't even know who those people are. There are people who want to sit with us, but they don't because nobody said, hey, come sit with me. That's the truth. They feel left out. They come in here and they feel like nobody knows them. There are also people who are here that feel like, oh, maybe people know me, but they just don't like me. That they're mean to me. Like, that's the complete opposite of where we should be. And then there are still people who are like, well, they used to know me, but they don't know me anymore. Like, I've changed a lot in the last year, but people are judging me based on who I used to be, not who I am now. Okay? This is a big one, because, like, I think all the time about if I ran into somebody from high school, like, that would be crazy. Like, they think they know me from then, but from me 2007 graduating from high school, me 2011 graduating from college, and me today are like three completely different people, right? You do not know me at all. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be mindful of the fact that just like you change, other people in this room change as well. What are you talking about?
I thought you said you graduated high school in 2007 and graduated college in 2003.
If I did, it was wrong. It's 2011.
Okay.
And then I graduated again in 2012. Figure that out, Adam. All right. So, we're going to do a fun exercise based on one Bible verse, but it's going to be collaborative, okay? So, you don't even need to turn in your Bibles because here's the verse, 1 Peter 3:8. What does it say? Connor, read it for all of us.
Finally, all of you have unity in mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind.
All right. Man, if we can nail these 5 things, we got it. So, here's how I like to think through things. Let's go one at a time. All of you have unity in mind. So let's go opposite day. What is the opposite of being unified in mind? Not being unified. Yeah, I like it, but what does that mean? This is heavily interactive, so y'all are going to have to talk. So, unified in mind, not unified in mind. What is to be not unified in mind? Like, give me an example. What do you think it means?
Different thoughts about different things.
Yeah, different thoughts about different things, and what'd you say?
You don't have the same opinion about something.
Yeah, you don't have the same opinion about something? Ooh, I can think of a real-world church example right now. Okay, nobody else? Yeah. Not disunity of mind. Okay, all right, so that's what disunity of mind is. So then what would unity of mind be?
Having the same opinion about something.
Yeah, the same opinion, the same thought. And so, what would it look like if our youth group had unity of mind? No, see, look, give us an answer.
Maybe we wouldn't be so negative and we would come here for the right purpose and we would try and get something out of it and just like, say we had a bad day but come here and put on the new mindset that we're here to learn and we're here to get something out of it kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we just have to be positive because I feel like if we're all like united, we won't be mean to each other and we won't make fun of each other because we should be united in Christ.
We won't argue about things because we all think the same things.
Yeah. And it's not that we don't disagree. Like, the leaders disagree a lot. But we're not fighting about it. We just disagree on the best way forward. But we talk about it, we pray about it, we decide on something, and then we do it. Right? Maybe unity of mind in the youth group is when we say something crazy like, we're going to do a high school fall retreat, that we don't get like tomatoes thrown at us. Where did that even come from? I don't know. Like that as a concept. But anyway, so we don't get like stuff thrown at us because you know what we want for you guys is what's best for you guys and for the group. Okay? We didn't get a really good chance to explain it. We're not taking away a retreat. We're adding a retreat. We're going to the beach with all of us in the spring. That's super fun. You know? We're adding a high school retreat to build leaders to come back into this to make the whole group better. Okay? Unity of mind. All right, what's the next one?
Sympathy.
All right, what's the opposite of sympathy? Give me some examples. Yes, good example. Were you talking to me or were you answering?
What's that word that starts with an A? Apathetic.
Yes, apathetic. Right? Give us an example of apathy.
Well, I'll give one for me. When people like know the consequences of their actions, but when they still do the action, and then when they face the consequences, I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel bad for you.
Yes, I also have that problem. Low mercy gang, right? Okay. Yeah. What else? What's an example of lack of sympathy?
Being insensitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, like, don't come in here to this youth group to be someone's difference between heaven and hell. And like, if we're apathetic about that, we don't really care what they do.
Yeah. So, if that's sympathy, like if that's a lack of sympathy, then what is sympathy? It's,
Caring, being loving.
To be nice.
yeah. To be nice and kind and caring and loving to who?
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah, not just like the people we like, right? It's like Alina's crying in the corner and we're like, awkward, right? But it's like to be kind and caring and compassionate and making sure she's okay. Even if like we're a high school guy and that's weird and awkward, okay? Like we can still do that. So what does it look like for our church then, for our youth group to be sympathetic?
Maybe people would want to come here because we're all nice and
Yeah.
I think something we would open up for, I think at camp is when we feel comfortable opening up, and when we come back here, it's like a whole new world, like with reality, and that we should always feel like we need to open up. And but also talking about we need to be like sympathetic to others. You also have to like do that to like be that way to yourself, because like you can't just like treat yourself or put yourself down badly, because that doesn't like portray.
Yeah. Yeah. So is somebody going to come to our youth group and be honest if we're not sympathetic, right? They're like, guys, I just had a really bad day. And Adam's like, oh my God. Why do you keep talking? Right? They're going to be like, okay, well, I'm not doing that again. Okay. Or even worse, like, what if we're in a small group and Jordy's like crying? He's like, guys, I'm going through something really tough right now. And Adam's like, gay. Crying. Okay? So just like Carrie's saying, if we're not sympathetic with each other on a weekly basis, we're not going to be open and honest. And then if we're not that way, we're not going to get anything out of it like we get out of it at camp. We got to be that way all the time. But that means we have to, we got to be real. But we're only going to be real with people we trust. Because if I'm real with Connor, and then 2 days later at school, somebody I don't know is telling me everything I said in small group, oh boy, I'm not doing it again. All right. Next one. Ooh, brotherly love. What is the opposite of brotherly love?
You trying to fight?
Sisterly love.
Yeah, sisterly hate. All right, yes, I think that is a good example. Adam's sisterly hate is a good opposite. Right?
that is real many times in our home.
Exactly. So then, if we're talking sisterly hate, brotherly love, what would that look like in our youth group?
Wait, brotherly love?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or not sisterly hate, brotherly love. What does that look like?
Like welcoming. Like we have a little welcome mat.
Yeah, well, a welcome mat. What if our heart was a welcome mat?
Oh.
Okay, yeah. That was cheesy. Okay.
I think it's loving people no matter what, too. You know, you've got that brotherly love is just that. I mean, I don't know. You love people. It doesn't matter what they look like, what they wear, what they sound like, what they're going through. It doesn't matter. You love them.
Yeah. It's like how deep down, I won't say love, but I care about my brother no matter how dumb he is. No matter what he does, or like my sister, she's crazy. No matter what she does, whichever one. They're all crazy, but it's like deep down you still care about them, right? And they know that we care about them and that we'll do whatever we need to do to help them. But that's how this group should be. This group should be more than like your actual siblings. Like Eric was talking about today, we're all part of the family of God. We're each other's brothers and sisters, and we should act like it. Okay? This is...
Eric, he just drove by.
Bye, Eric.
Yeah, who was in the car?
What?
I don't know, but I was thinking like with brotherly love, but like I feel like you also have to have forgiveness with it, because if you're not forgiving, it's hard to love. And if we're not, I feel like loving goes along with forgiveness, because we can't just hold on to it and because I feel like sometimes when we hold on to certain sin, we're like selfish towards it, and we have to just like forgive and move on and look past it and kind of just still love the person.
Yeah. Guys, okay, how many of you... Well, I was going to do this earlier. How many of you have ever made a bad decision? Okay.
Raise your hand.
Yes. I make many bad decisions, okay? How many times have you ever made a bad decision that directly affected somebody else?
Adam's focused on that.
Yes, right? Taco Bell laying next to Leah in bed? Yeah. Okay. When we make mistakes, right, we want people to forgive us, but that means when other people make mistakes or other people wrong us, we need to forgive them. Okay?
At what point did we all start thinking we were always right? And that the other, you know what I'm saying, it's like we've lost that compassion.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
not always gonna be right, and you need to accept that you're not always right.
Yeah, you're not always right. And that means you have to be, first of all, brave enough to say I'm sorry, but also big enough to forgive somebody else when they do something against you. And that's really hard. You know?
Brotherly too, I think, is unconditional, because, you know, you love your family unconditionally. You know, you're never gonna stop loving your family.
Adam agrees with you.
I don't love Adam unconditionally, but I do love my family. No, but like, what if God, like, put conditions on dying on the cross? You know,
Yeah.
Like you, I'm not gonna die for you if you are gay.
Yeah.
Or if you cry. like Jordy cries a lot.
Yeah, all the time.
All
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, so like, Jesus is like, I'm not dying for you because you cry.
Well, and that's the thing, like, we have to separate the person and the action, you know? Like, let's say that, yes, Aiden is on crystal meth, okay? We all know it, and it hurts us because Aiden, when he's on crystal meth, he comes in here and he's abusive. He curses at us, he hits us, okay? And then he goes home, okay? We need to separate the fact that what Aiden is doing is sinful, but we still care about Aiden the person, and we want him to get over that sin, and we want him to be in a better place. Okay? It's that way with everybody. We don't hate gay people, right? We don't like the sin that they're choosing to live in, but we also need to not like the sin that I'm choosing to live in. And we still need to work past that and love and serve the individual. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets me like so mad when people talk about like Christians hate gays. It's like that should have never been allowed to be a thing, right? How have we come across as somebody who hates somebody else? We don't like things that they choose to do, but we should be known for our love. Brotherly, unconditional. What is the opposite of a tender heart?
A rock hard heart.
Yes.
Cold heart. My sister.
Yes. Me on occasion. Right? Cold-hearted. Somebody give me a cold-hearted example. Like, again,
That is Adam's answer for a lot of things.
That's the third time I said that.
Adam's going with the you idiot answer. I love it.
Some of that is if somebody's in the corner crying and you're just whatever, you don't have that kind of sympathy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of sympathy, and then also it's like Alina's crying and you're just like, not again. It's like, has her life fallen apart again? We don't care. You know, you only get 3 breakdowns. 3, okay? Yeah, so it's not just like, yeah, it goes a lot of hand in hand with sympathy, but it's like, to me, I think tenderhearted is like being able to connect with them emotionally. When your mom makes pizza rolls.
She cares for you.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like,
I make my children have to make their own pizza rolls. I'm obviously not tenderhearted.
there you go.
Yeah, but you make them pasta.
I do make you pasta. That's love.
Yeah, so I think it goes to that, like, the heart is the key here. It's the emotional connection. Yeah, it's the connection.
That connection.
But you only get that connection if you get to know the person, right? So how does our youth group be tenderhearted?
Well, we all know each other. We all have a connection of
That's right. But to get to know each other, we gotta,
step out of your comfort zone.
yeah, we gotta talk to each other.
How are you doing? How was your day? Are you going through something? Can I help you? What do you need this week? How's math? How's English?
Yeah.
How's Spanish?
Guys, I'm going to show you like the easiest, it's like the absolute easiest way to get to know somebody, okay? Watch. It's super easy. You're going to be like, Thunderbirds. What's that?
It's a hockey team.
Do you like hockey?
Yeah. Because I like to see them get fights.
Nice. So see, in this like, in a 20-second conversation, I now know that Sydney likes hockey and she likes them fighting each other. Okay? There you go. And then we can be like, Carrie, what is love Haiti?
You want me to answer?
Yeah, like what is that?
Camp I went to, and they we make meals that go to Haiti because it's like one of the top 4 countries in the world. We make food for the people.
See, so now we know Sydney likes hockey. Carrie went to a camp about Love Haiti, and we can talk to her about that and ask her about the camp. The best way to get to know somebody, the easiest way, just look at what they're wearing, then ask them a question. Be like, Aiden, do you really like Adidas? There you go. Now you know, right?
Do you like Nike?
What about me?
Adam, you have Adidas shoes.
I do.
Do you like those shoes?
Yeah, because I don't like it.
Well, now he's not wearing his patriotic
Birkenstocks.
Bag.
See, there you go. You can ask her. Exactly. So if you don't know what to say and you find yourself in an awkward situation, just say something about what they're wearing. All right. And then finally, this one, guys, pay attention because it's going to hit you right in the face. What is the opposite of a humble mind?
I am the greatest at literally every single thing I do all the time, constantly.
We got a lot of the opposite of this one, guys.
Amen.
All right, so I think we got this one. So then what would it look like if we all had a humble mind in this youth group?
Well, like you said, when Pastor Aaron doesn't say duty, you know, we're like, oh yeah, not like,
No, you're the greatest. No, you're the greatest. No, you're the best.
Yeah.
You're the best.
I know.
So like if we all have a humble mind, that means I can learn from anybody, even yeah, like y'all shouldn't be afraid to talk because it's like, oh, Josh is so wise and I'm gonna look like an idiot. It's like, no, like
We all know you're not. That's
exactly, right? All of us adults, sometimes you ask us a question, we're like, well, you see, the answer is simple. We're like Googling it on the side, right? Like, you'll have to know, you never just know everything. We're always learning, we're always growing, and we're learning and growing from each other. So, you need to have that attitude towards everybody else. Even like Zach Cunningham raises his hand to answer a question, you need to not be like, before he even answers, okay? Probably not after he answers either, okay? Because that's not nice and sympathetic. But the point is, you need to like go at it as, what can I learn from what this person's about to say? Like, what are they trying to say? Because sometimes people have a hard time communicating what's in their head. That doesn't mean they're not smart. It just means they have a hard time. No, it just means they have a hard time saying the smart thing that's inside their brain. And that's very true for a lot of people.
I was gonna also say like on a girl level, because getting all like, empathetic and sympathetic. I think sometimes a humble mind is somebody who understands, like Carrie is saying, forgiveness and sin, and that we're all broken, and that none of us have arrived, and none of us are better than anybody else. And yeah, sometimes my butt stinks, but like you don't have to talk about it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes I smell like farts, but you don't have to be like, you smell like farts.
Yes.
Just call me out to my face. In love. Katie, wash your butt. Like, understand.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example of like the two ways that you can approach it, right? I can say, Connor, wash your butt. You stink. Okay? But is that the nicest way for me to approach that? Do I have to tell Connor he stinks? No. I don't have to. That's mean. But what I can say is like, Connor, bud.
I thought you were going to say butt.
You're like, we're getting to that age where
Be taking showers every day.
all of us, need to be showering and wearing deodorant. And girls like it when you smell nice. And so maybe we should just like up it a little bit, right? You can say things nicely. You don't have to be rude. All right. So finally, here's what I'm going to tell you. For the next year, Yeah, Shannon's the best. So for the next year, I'm going to challenge you guys to, first of all, find a disciple, either inside this youth group, inside this church, or outside this church. And you're going to have to think about who it's going to be, because in your small groups, I want you guys to think about it and come up with a name. Okay? Now, number 2, I want all of us to do, I don't know, the name challenge, whatever we're going to call it. That means when somebody walks in this door that you don't know, you know their name and you have talked to them before they leave. And when they come back, you remember their name. So it can't be one of those like, hey, what's your name? Connor? Cool. Oh, I wasn't listening when he told me his name, right? We've all done that. You forget somebody's name within 15 seconds of meeting the person, okay? Like, try to remember their name. Maybe that's going to be like Carrie's bringing 3 friends to youth, and she's like texting the high school girls, hey, I'm bringing 3 friends. Their names are Shannon and Bannon and Lannon. I don't know. So she's texting, and so she tells the high school girls, I'm bringing these people tonight. Because if they walk in the door and somebody remembers their name, they're more likely to come back. Because they feel like that we care about them. Okay? So, text each other, remember their name, talk to people when they come in this door that you don't know. That's my challenge to you guys for the next year. Okay? I'll have spies. I'll know if you did it. I'm going to send random teens through the door that you don't know to test you. I don't know where I'm going to get them.
Okay.
I'll just walk around and offer free candy to the teenagers of the area. So it sounds like a simple thing, guys, but hear me out. If everybody in our youth group disciples one person every year, and then that person turns around and disciples one person the next year, and all of those people turn around and disciple one person the next year, by the time you come back for your 10-year high school reunion, because of this youth group, we could have discipled 1 million people. Because it just expands exponentially. Think about that. 10 years is not a long time. Take it seriously, and you can be a part of that movement, what God is doing. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. Super fun. We're going to go to the fellowship hall because we just got this carpet. Each group take a carton and we're going to repaint them for the new year. So exciting. So guys, high school girls, middle school girls, here's your paint. We'll get you brushes from someplace. Your leaders have like some small group questions to go over. So sit at 3 different tables, and then y'all go over the questions as you paint your containers. Take out the binders, obviously. Any questions? All right, go.